Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel. I am very honored to have actress Toni Hudson here in the house. I say actress, but she's also a producer, writer, director,
Yep.
and now my good friend.
Yes.
She's been here in the studio 3 times now, and she's a fantastic teacher. If you're wanting to get into the model acting business, she has been in. So tell us a little bit about, you started off in your first role. Well, it was TV commercials first, correct?
Yes.
Before you go back to that time, like what year was this?
Oh God. So you're a guy.
Yeah.
You're asking me about dates. Okay. So when was I not pregnant? And I was 19 when I got into the business. So how long ago was that? 40 years ago, over 40 years ago. And I started off doing commercials. I taught Peter Fonda how to play racquetball.
No way.
For a frozen fish commercial. And then they put me in the racquetball.
So when I'm talking to her, sometimes she'll throw out these crazy stories just like that. Oh, I taught Peter Fonda. I'm like, wait, what? Like, you did, like, how do you forget stories like that? Like, I want to hear more about things like that. Like, people love the idea of like your Tom Cruise reading, how you went to Jeff Bezos' party and you're sitting on a couch with Quincy Jones and you're all chilled out. I mean, she showed me these photos of her and Quincy Jones and I'm like, this is freaking fantastic. Like, people love to hear that kind of story and whatnot. So yeah. But anyway, so then your first big movie role.
The first big movie role was Young Doctors in Love, Gary Marshall's directorial debut. So it was 72 speaking parts, a lot of soap opera actors, and it was my first film. I was originally hired for 3 days and I worked for 13 weeks.
Wow.
Yeah. So I got to meet everybody that was on that cast, Michael McKean and Sean Young and Dabney Coleman and Patrick McNee.
I didn't know Dabney Coleman was in the movie.
Oh yeah, no.
Yeah. I love his 80s movies, War Games.
He's a very good friend of mine.
Is he really?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
See, another story where you're like, wait a minute, you know Dabney Coleman.
Actually, he taught me how to serve in tennis. Like, I found my serve because of Dabney Coleman.
That's pretty badass.
Yeah.
Yeah. So she taught Peter Fonda how to make frozen ice cream, or what was it?
No, it was a frozen fish company.
Fish.
I think it was called Nisui Frozen Fish. And somehow he was playing racquetball in the commercial. I didn't understand Japanese, so I couldn't read the storyboard to understand what the commercial really was, but they just needed me to teach him. And then when I was teaching him, they saw how good I was and they said, hey, can we put you in the commercial? We won't show your face because you're not union or whatever, but we want to use your body as the pro playing racquetball. And I said, sure.
So how old were you at that point? 19. 19. Okay, so this is the Gary Marshall. No, this is the commercial.
That was the commercial.
Okay, how were you in the first movie?
19.
19. So we're all the same.
I did over probably 50 national commercials within the first year and a half or so that I was an actor. I just went boom, 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 boom. And then I went straight from really commercials to film, which is Young Doctors in Love. And then after Young Doctors in Love was Cross Creek. And that won a couple Academy Awards. And that was Mary Steenburgen, Malcolm McDowell, Rip Torn, Dana Hill, Alfre Woodard. Yeah, it was
big names.
Yeah, and it was directed by Bob Radnick. I mean,
so you all want to get into acting? Anyone out there want to get into acting? You just heard Toni say, you know, she did over 50 some odd commercials in the first year. And this is why I tell people, they say, well, they want to do an acting, because we did an actors workshop twice now. And people who I say, I invite people to the actors workshop, they ask more about it. They say, well, I really don't know how to act, but it's like, that's the whole idea. But then TV commercials lead into a lot bigger things. You meet casting people, you meet other actors, and then all of a sudden you could launch like you did. Gary Marshall, I mean, Gary Marshall back then was not known, but he'd be one of the biggest directors of all time. And
my audition for my first movie was very simple. They were already on location downtown LA shooting at the Biltmore Hotel. And so they said they're gonna see a few people to play the Candy Stripers at this time, show up downtown, and Gary wants to meet you. So there was a handful of us actresses. We go down to the Biltmore Hotel. And I went in and he goes, how you doing? And he's like, you know, grabbing my cheek, how you doing? I said, I'm very good.
Is he a New Yorker accent?
Yeah, he's Italian, New Yorker.
Okay.
So I said, good. And he goes, okay, say every cuss word you know. And I said every cuss word I knew. I said them all, like really good, because I have two brothers and, you know, a lot of stepdads. And I got the part.
All from cursing at Gary
That was all I
Marshall.
did there. I didn't read a scene. I didn't do anything. He knew I could tap dance.
Yeah.
And his family has tap dancing in their history. And so he kind of liked the idea that I knew how to tap dance. And I tap dance in the movie, actually.
So after Young Doctors, what was the next movie that came to you?
Young Doctors in Love, then Cross Creek
Cross
with
Creek,
Mary
yeah.
Steenburgen. And then after Cross Creek was Prime Risk.
Was your name was on the title.
Yeah,
Quick
name was on
story
title.
here in the studio. We're upstairs and I told Tony, I said, hey, guess what? I got this great movie I just purchased on Prime. So, oh, let's see what it is. And of course, she hasn't seen me hit it real quick and it's her movie. And she's not seen it in almost 30 years, I think you said.
Well, no, I had seen it, I think, maybe 10 years ago or something, but it'd been a while.
And
since
she
I've
forgot
seen
her own character name. So I think it was Julie, or, you know,
Julie
Julie.
Collins.
Yeah.
Julie Collins. Yeah, no, that was my first starring role. And I got that because of the movie. Oh, then it must have been the fourth movie. Because I did Places in the Heart.
Okay, gotcha.
Which is where Sally Field won her Academy Award, where she says, you love me, and every stand-up comedian made fun of her for years. And loved that woman. I still love that woman, but meeting her on set and having her as a mentor, and it was really wonderful. She's a great lady,
You're
Sally
still
Field.
with her now or not?
No. I ran into her at a screening of a movie in Westwood, and as soon as the lights started to come up, I didn't know she was there, but she passed me going up the aisle to go out of the theater, and I saw her, and I went, oh, I gotta say hi. But, you know, it's full of fans, so she's trying to get out quick, but I followed. And now she's out on Westwood Boulevard and I said, Sally, and she wouldn't turn around. I went, Sally, because it could just be somebody.
Yeah.
And then she turned around and she goes, oh, you know, we hugged and had a nice little reunion, but that's the last time I saw her.
It's still a cool story.
Yeah.
So then you go on from that movie to which is the next?
Let's see. After Places in the Heart.
You did a lot of TV also during this time.
Yes, episodic. During the first 3 or 4 movies, I did a lot of episodic. The A-Team, Knight Rider, Laverne and Shirley, which is how I met Gary.
Oh, okay. That's interesting.
Because
because
Gary was, you know, he had Laverne and Shirley, right?
Penny Marshall was his sister, correct?
Yes,
Yeah.
yes. And so they were getting ready to do a spin-off pilot. And it had to do with steel workers. And so Penny's character was going to be a steel worker, and I was auditioning for another steel worker.
Gotcha.
And we went and shot the pilot on the Laverne and Shirley set. And it was quite a wonderful experience. It never came to fruition, the actual pilot, but it was fun. That's how I met him.
I did. Okay. See, there's a whole other story. She told me about Gary Marshall. I never knew that's how you met him. That's pretty cool, though.
Because he gave me away when I got married. And a lot of people wonder how I know him, and it's from him hiring
That's a
me.
close relationship.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, it was. Yes, he's gone now.
So fast forward a little bit more, and then your name was on the top of the list. It was your big movie in the 80s.
Oh, Just One of the Guys.
Just One of the Guys.
Yes.
A lot of
Just One
people
the
know that
Guys.
movie. They see you in that movie. It's like even if you like the movie, what was the Tom Cruise movie, Risky Business?
Oh, yes.
Even though there was the guy who played Booger in Revenge of the Nerds, he starred in that movie first as his good friend. And if you ever watched Risky Business, you'll recognize that guy. And you're like, oh my gosh, he had that much of a strong part in that movie, just like
Right.
you had in this movie.
Yeah. I play the best friend co-star, basically.
Yeah.
And, you know, the girl that can't get a date, I supposedly used to be really fat because my line that defines my character is I'm at the prom
Dancing away.
with Joyce Heiser playing the lead and as her date so that she can pretend to be a boy. And my one line is above the music, oh my God, I'm having so much fun. No one here knows I used to be fat. And that's my whole character in a nutshell.
And you were checking out the bass player, I think.
Oh, no, well, the producers came to me and they said, all right, you have to hook up with one of these guys in the band. So they came to me in my ear and they said, so which one do you want?
The guy in the red suit and the mullets. That's who I want.
I said the red suit, yeah.
So I'm a big 80s fan.
I think that band was Rod Stewart's band.
No way.
I think they're really big. And I didn't know it at the time.
Want to look that up. If you
Yeah, well, you
looked it
should
up,
look that
put it
up.
in the comments and let us know. But that'd be fantastic to find out.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm a huge 80s fan, and I actually met Toni via, I think, Instagram.
Yeah.
That's how we met on Instagram. And we started conversing not quite a year ago, but it's around July, I think.
I was admiring your work.
Yeah.
During COVID and quarantine and Instagramming and social media and just looking, and I saw Kevin's work and I was like, wow, this guy's good. It's cool, like handsome. And and had some great shots and all those models. And I said, that would be fun. And then he just kind of said, hey, if you ever come through Kentucky, and I'm like, how far away is Kentucky from Georgia?
You had a son in Ohio at the point. You mentioned maybe going to visit him after coming to Louisville.
Mhm.
So she was at the time living right outside Atlanta, Canton, I think?
Canton, Georgia.
Canton, Georgia, and she drove up back in October. We shot her photos, and I started kind of picking her brain, saying, "Would you ever like maybe possibly teach if we hosted here like an actor's workshop?" And you were like, "Oh my God, yes!"
Yeah.
Because she's telling me a little of those behind the scenes stories about how she kind of directed behind the scenes on her movie Prime Risk when she was not the main thing going on right then and there. She was getting all the people behind the scenes to run that way, run this way.
Yeah, it's called it's called just handling the extras and what do they call them? What is it when you round up cattle?
Kettle call.
Well, anyway, and you got to, because it's a bank scene and restaurant scene. So whenever in the mall in Prime Risk, so the movie that I starred in, I was bored on the days I didn't work, that my character didn't work. So I just said, hey, I could help out with because I'm a choreographer, dancer, and it's really all just about timing, go, you go. It was fun.
If you're watching the movie Prime Risk, about 90% of her hands in the movie are not her hands in the movie. I was like, that's not your hand? She was like, nope, that's not me.
No, I said, look at that thumb. It goes, wow. That's not my thumb. My thumb. I can't get my.
She proved it. So 80s movies, then we'll fast forward a little bit more. So can we talk a little bit, not a little talk about it, but so all you people out there who are fans of the A-Team.
Oh yeah.
I was a huge fan of the A-Team. Not the movie, but the series in the 80s.
You're not alone.
I'm definitely not alone. Definitely not alone.
Right.
And then also Battlestar Galactica, which I happened to watch an episode at 4:30 this morning when I woke up early, and I watched it as a kid. I was telling her I didn't know the whole premises of the movie, like the actual, the aliens and the humans are gonna make peace, but the aliens had other ideas. So, but anyway, long story short,
he's a fan.
I'm a big fan. So she was married to Dirk Benedict, who actually played Starbuck in Battlestar Galactica.
Yeah, he was Starbuck before there was Starbucks.
Yeah. But that was the main guy. He was like the main guy in the show, really, pretty much.
Yeah. There's two. It was Richard Hatch and
Lauren Green.
And Dirk Benedict and a couple of females that were regular. Yeah, it was a good cast.
And then the A-Team, he played Face, and he's like the good-looking guy that always smoked the cigars, and of course he smoked the cigars in Battlestar Galactica too.
So anytime he could put that in, he did.
I know they had cigars in space.
He smokes still probably 4 to 6 cigars a day. So
wow.
Yeah, he's an avid aficionado.
So we were earlier today talking about A-Team type behind the scenes stuff, and I saw this thing online where apparently Mr. T and George Papard had kind of not issues, but little ego issues, because a lot of people love Mr. T because he was at the next big thing. Like you said, he was the TikTok of that era.
Yeah. When he came off the Rocky movie, he was a big security guy, and he did the competition where you have to move a refrigerator like that. And then he got Rocky. Yeah, the strongman, then he did Rocky. And then of course he gets the A-Team, and he's loud with the jewelry and the mohawk. So it's Mr. T, which is, does anybody know what Mr. T stands for? Do you know his first name?
Lawrence Terrio or something like that, was it?
Thoreau.
Okay, gotcha.
And that's a TH, so that's what the T is.
Gotcha, okay.
A lot of people didn't know that. But anyway, George Papard definitely thought, coming from the movies and Breakfast at Tiffany's and Blue Max, he was a movie star.
Yeah.
And now here he is on a series. It was a little hard for him, I think, at first, and wanted to be the guy. And everyone was kind of making their own deals at first, and then people started talking, as they're getting to know each other the first season.
Like who makes what?
Who makes what? Who got the bigger trailer? All that stuff. And by the second or third season, it was favored nations, and everybody went the same, and they were great. Everybody got along great.
So then you go now, leaving A-Team and the former husband here. We're gonna go back to your career. But I think it's just so cool because she did play a part in Knight Rider in the A-Team. And so she was always there with Dirk, probably on set, because you have 2 kids with him.
No, I
you
wasn't
were
on
not.
set. Well, I was on set, yeah. I
Right.
mean, often enough, but I wasn't always on set. No, that was his job. He went
Right.
to work at 4:30 in the morning, and I sent him on his way with a macrobiotic lunchbox. And then I stayed home taking care of our kids, but he would go off and do his thing, and I would visit. And then when I guest starred, and we'd go to rap parties, and we'd do the interviews or the tours, like I would be around
Yeah.
everybody. But no, I let him do his thing.
You should have got George for part of breakfast too, have Mr. T cereal. That's horrible. That's so bad. So if you are a Texas Chainsaw Massacre fan, she played in Leatherface Part 3. And it was
Yeah, Leatherface,
Well-
Texas Chainsaw Massacre Part, yeah.
yeah, it was Saul's in the family written across the blade, and they made a very Excalibur type of movie show where he pulls where the hand comes out of the water with the
Right,
Saul, and it's all
right.
silver, and he pulls it away.
Right.
So your best friend gets killed, you get away.
No, it's not my best friend, it's my sister.
Okay, sister.
So the premise of my small part in the first quarter of the movie, it's not a long part at all. But I just play 2 sisters who were going through this area where the family lives, obviously desert, and we got captured, and they were planning on to eat us. And so I'm in the kitchen, and they've nailed me to a chair. So I've got, and I'm basically watching them boil, kill, eat my sister. And I watch him in his little cabin cut the skin off my sister's face, and she had a teardrop tattoo. So he sewed that into his mask.
Wow.
My sister's skin. So I was not happy about this. And I got away, and I was running in the woods for like 10 days, and he's been chasing me, and I'm really good at getting away, but I had to eat a lot of rats and do some things to survive. So what I do is when the lead characters come into the story, and when this other guy comes into the story, a weekend warrior guy, I keep saving them.
Right.
Because he's about to kill him or get him, and I go, hey, I'm over here, you were trying to get me. And so he turns and chases me again, and they get away. And I do that a couple of times, but then I get it chainsaw right up the middle.
And it was cool, if you would call it cool, she was in her first trimester, and she had just told the director, I think that same day, by the way,
No, right before we shot the scene.
Oh,
I never told, so because when I auditioned, I was pregnant. I was
Gotcha.
already pregnant, but I didn't want to not get the part because I was pregnant. Like, well, we're gonna be shooting nights, and maybe we shouldn't hire a pregnant girl.
Yeah.
So I just kept my mouth shut and auditioned, got the part. So right before the scene, because it was a little tricky, they had a real chainsaw and a fake chainsaw. I have to, I'm running in the woods at night. I have to, end up against a tree. And then they have a guy, the special effects guy, on the ground with Caro syrup in a vacuum that's reversed, pushing it out, and it's a little tube, and they spray all this blood. So when he goes, and I'm having to, they're spraying all this splattering blood on me, and it was a lot. But we had to do it twice. So I had to go shower, blow dry the hair, get all made up again, and then do it again. And that was me getting chainsawed in half.
I'm a scary movie fanatic, so
Yeah.
that's my thing.
And Jeff Burr, the director, I love Jeff Burr, and I'm producing now. So I've been trying to get Jeff Burr a movie. We almost had one that we were gonna do while I was in Georgia, because he's actually, I think, in Alabama or Georgia. So, but he's a very good director. He understands that genre very well.
So we're gonna fast forward a little bit. Now, when she came into town the first time in October, she comes back into early December. That's when we had the first actors workshop on December 5th, I believe. And I got to watch a movie right before you got there called Charlie's Christmas Wish, which is very Hallmarky movie.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And it was her 15-year-old son who played her son in the movie.
It's a family Christmas dog, homeless veteran themed movie, rated PG, not PG-13, PG.
Should have been G, really. It was pretty.
No, there was a kiss at the wedding.
Oh.
That made it PG. Yeah. And a heart attack. So it made it PG.
Gotcha.
But yeah, it's a family, and I co-produce, star, set design. The dog Charlie is my dog Charlie. I trained the dog, so I dog handle.
Charlie's a girl, by the way.
Yes. My son Walker played my son Jimmy in it. I played Jill Frost. He plays Jimmy Frost. And then Aiden Turner plays John Frost, my husband, who comes back early from Afghanistan at Christmas time and interrupts our whole life. And we adopted this little dog, and he's not a fan of little dogs. And while he was in Afghanistan, he had a big one, and he was going to get a big dog for his son when he got home. And he's got PTSD, and it's a mess.
Yeah.
But Charlie, the angel dog, saves everybody.
What's also great about that movie, if you, again, 80s fan, look at some of the people in the movie. Richard Tyson's in the movie. Richard Tyson, I think his first movie I saw was Two Moon Junction. Him and Sherilyn Finn, I think it was like 86
And Sherilyn Finn was in Just One of the Guys.
That's right, she was the lizard girl.
That was, I think, her first movie.
She was the lizard girl, I think yeah.
It was her first movie, I
forgot all
think.
about that, you're right.
Mhm.
So if Two Moon Junction, if you've never seen that, it's basically, it was like softcore porn. It was rated
Yeah,
R,
it was good.
but it was a really good movie. And then he played in a comedy movie called 3 O'Clock.
He was Kindergarten
a high school
Cop,
movie,
Richard
yes.
Tyson, Kindergarten Cop, Black Hawk Down.
Black
He
Hawk
was,
Down, yeah.
yeah, I mean, he was originally slated to play John Frost, my husband.
Yep.
And then there was some issues. And so since we'd already shot some footage together, we switched and made Richard my brother.
Now, who played the guy with heart attack?
That's Vernon Wells.
Now, if you don't know who Vernon Wells is, go way back and look at the Road Warrior, Mad Max. The second, but there's Mad Max, and then there's the Road Warrior. He was the one that had the mohawk, the paint on his face, and then he kind of reprised that role. They had changed it because of trademark issues in the movie Weird Science. He's one of the 3 guys on the motorcycle that wreaks havoc in the party. But then he played the ultimate bad guy with Arnold Schwarzenegger in the movie Commando.
You know, Vernon Wells is a consummate professional. He's an artist. Yeah, no, he's great. He was great. Fun to get to know him.
So movies you read for, and tell me this, is there a movie you didn't read for, you had a chance to, that you did not, that you wish you would have now?
What do you mean?
Like a chance, if there was a movie that they asked you to read for, and you're like, well, I'm busy doing this.
Well, there was a movie called A Trip to Bountiful that Rebecca De Mornay did. And I think I remember auditioning for that. Really wanted the part. It's such a special film, and it ended up being a special film. But I really wanted to play that role. It was a great part, especially for where I was and who I was at the time.
Yeah.
I know that one for sure. Oh yeah, then Footloose. I did audition for Footloose. In fact, it was between me and Laurie Singer.
Oh wow.
So Joel Schumacher had us both come in, and
New story I've not heard yet.
oh, I haven't told you.
I don't think so.
Yeah, so it was down to her and me. So so the callback was, she goes in, reads, comes back and sits. I go in and read, and we went this back and like in and out.
You had dance history already, or you knew how to dance?
Oh yeah, yeah.
Was she able to dance, or was that more?
Yeah, she had just piss and vinegar spitfire in her, just naturally. That
Right.
girl has lots of energy. But what I didn't know, because we weren't allowed to read this full script, we were just given the sides for the audition, is once I did read the full script, I found out she wore red cowboy boots, and I owned a pair of Ralph Lauren's, and I walked in the audition wearing them, and I had no idea that the girl wore red cowboy boots in the movie.
So that was a good win for her then, a good point, brownie point for her.
Yeah,
Gotcha.
yeah. So,
I did not know that story. No.
yeah.
So stuff you're doing now, what do you have coming up? I know you are working on a thing where you are a recovering drug addict, I think. And your daughter had passed away, and you had to see her in a morgue. Was she?
Oh no, yeah, no, I've done a few projects in Georgia before I came back to California. I did a movie called, well, a series, I think it's a series, Queen of Lit, and I play a prosecutor. And then I play the next 24, I play a woman whose daughter has been sex trafficked, and we can't find her, and I'm frantic. And I have like 3 or 4 scenes.
Yep.
Yes, hang on, I'm all messed up right now.
What's the new one you just did for, like, it's another almost like a Hallmark flick, Christmas?
Oh, Christmas at the Gray Horse Inn.
Yeah.
So yes, my producing partner, Sue Ann Taylor, is producing this movie called Christmas at the Gray Horse Inn. Kate Daly and Bo somebody play the leads, and I play her literary agent. And yeah.
So she's a writer, obviously.
Yes, she's a writer and trying to find her way. And then her aunt's in becomes her responsibility when the aunt dies. She inherits it, so she goes up to basically sell it and get rid of it and go back to the city. And of course, falls in love with the people and the whole idea and the boy that helps her there. So she falls in love with it and the horses. So as her literary agent, I guide her to stop writing the stuff that she can't write anymore and to just find a new voice. And through the Christmas of the Gray Horse Inn, she does.
Is this really a Hallmark kind of movie? Will it be on Hallmark?
I think it's going to be a Hallmark-ish type movie. It might have a theatrical release, I'm not sure. But it's definitely based on books that were written.
Gotcha.
Mm-hmm.
So let's go back to like education with people wanting to get into business. So what would you like today? I know COVID's going on. It's a different world going on right now, and movies are not really filming like they were 2 years ago. It's not as active,
yeah,
but it's happening a little by
little. Yeah, no, it's starting up again.
But say someone wants to get, I'm a fresh person, I have the right tools for it. Where would I go? Like, you obviously, would you even have to move to California, or would you need to find an agent?
Well, I think in today's day and age, no. I mean, yes, if you would ask me 10, 20 years ago, well, of course, yeah, you should be in New York, LA, somewhere, where it's more active and you have more possibility.
Yeah.
But the idea that it's all online now, so
Yeah.
very rarely do you go in the office for an audition like we used to.
But we can do a Zoom thing just like this.
It could be now it's the callback, maybe the third or fourth callback, you'll go in person and read with the other actor that they're considering for opposite you. But now you can do it from anywhere. So it's mostly virtual.
Yeah.
And
would you recommend getting an agent?
yes, but what I would first do is get into some theater or some things that are local. Make sure it's what you like.
Yeah.
You got to try it out first and make sure it's something that you really love, that you're willing to sacrifice certain things to pursue the art of it, because you can't just go for the money. There's no guarantee of that. So you have to really love what you do. And I think that's key.
Yeah, and there's a lot of independent movie makers in every city that people want to make movies. They buy equipment, they want to do a scary flick, a romance flick, and there's a lot to do, or you can learn from this.
Well, here's what I say. There is so many talented people out there that aren't connected to the industry, and I say just do it.
Yeah.
Your iPhone, your phone can make a movie, right?
Yeah.
Get your friends involved, write a story, shoot it, learn how to edit. I'm learning right now just how to work iMovie, just so I can make little videos.
And it was good. She's doing a birthday party and her friends in California, and it was like I was like, this is cool, and
yeah, very professional.
Was he using a gimbal yet? She's just using her hand to hold the
I'm just
camera.
holding it. Yeah. And I really like that. And so I'm to even going in that direction, because I've written my scripts living on the fringe, and I could direct it and have someone else star it, possibly. But I do see things.
Yeah.
And that's my medium. I am a visual person.
You like to create things. I
Yeah.
watched one of your previous
24/7.
interviews, and you're like, if I'm not creating, that's your love, your palette, your painting.
If I'm cooking, I'm creating.
Yeah.
If I'm cleaning the toilet, believe it or not, I'm creating. If I'm walking on the beach, somehow I'll hear some music, or I'm doing some dance in the sand. I mean, I'm always putting creativity in my life, and that's my choice. That makes me happy.
So no, I love that. I love that.
I know.
So if you're people still want to get acting now, like we talk about where would you?
Here's what I would do. I would get a presence on social media.
Yeah.
The good. You don't need TikTok. You don't need the silliness so much as you need to just have a presence, because the social media numbers are part of what people look at today, because it is so influential.
And put good content on it. Don't put your drunken nights with your friends on your social media.
Well, that's the point. You would create a separate account for that.
Yeah.
So have a professional account. So, I mean, I'm going to tell you about my account. I post on social media a lot, but I don't go political. I don't go religious. I might have a shot with somebody. I'm 60 years old. I can have an alcoholic shot, and I'm not partying every picture on my Instagram. But if it's a birthday or something, I might do that. But mostly it's motivational. It's about my work.
Yep.
It's things that I'm inspired, that inspire me, that I think might inspire someone else. And that's what I use my platform for. And I have never bought any followers. I've been tempted many times to bring the numbers up. But I have organic, simple little numbers.
Yeah.
And I'm okay with that.
What a lot of people don't know about you is she's got a singing background like you would not believe. She was here in the house the first time, or the second time, I think the first time. And she was playing on her phone some music, and I thought, is that Patsy Cline? That's Patsy Cline, right? And she goes, she had this little smirk on her face. And I said, I could listen to it. She says, it's called the title of the song. And I looked up on Google. I was like, it's not showing me who sings it. This is Patsy Cline, though, right? She goes, that's me, Silly. That's my album I told you about. I went, that's you. I was like, oh my God.
I forgot about that.
Yes.
Yeah.
And then she sung some Patsy Cline. And then while you're getting your hair and makeup done, I had the video of it. You're singing Adele, Rolling in the Deep, which was freaking unbelievable. I mean, I can't tell you how many people I've showed that video to. They're like, oh my God, like the high notes that you're getting. And now keep in mind, like she said, she's 60 years old. She jumps out of the chair and she's dancing and everything else to the music and like popping it off and stuff like this. But that also brings me to the next thing is she also has a big background in dance because you were like behind the scenes on Dance with the Stars for how many years? I
worked on Dancing with the Stars a little over 10 years. 20 seasons, 10 years, because they did 2 seasons a year when I was working on the show. And so I was basically, I didn't teach choreography. I didn't make up choreography. I was the rehearsal actor for the host. So whether it was Samantha Harris, which was the first one I stood in for, then it was Brooke Burke, and then it became Erin Andrews.
Gotcha.
And I stood in for all 3 of them. So through that decade, they all took turns of being the co-host with Tom Bergeron. And so it's a family. That's a little family over there. And I know all those folks, you know, and they're amazing, talented people. And, you know, the crew, oh my gosh, we would get a set designer come from Game of Thrones with his family to come see Dancing with the Stars, right? So they got VIP seats and they're always brought in a little earlier. So we get to know some of these people. And he was sharing with me at the break of the live show. He said, I cannot believe how they changed sets in 3 minutes. So fast, from one dance number to the next, takes us all day.
Right.
To like figure out, he goes, how do these guys do it? Because live television is its own, it's its own animal, which is what I'm writing my television series called The Stand-In, which is based on the whole thing of live television, whether it's an award show, or a reality show. I mean, there's a lot of live television right now, and everything has to be rehearsed down to the second. The lighting cue, the set cue, the actor cue, the prompter cue, the cameras, which camera 2, camera 4, camera. It's so choreographed that there's a whole group of people that they bring in to rehearse the show for 10 days. Like I'm going in to do the Oscars here, and I'll get home and it's this weekend. So 23rd, 24th, 25th, I'll be working the Oscar pre-show. So we're rehearsing that red carpet thing over and over, reading, pretending, doing everything and getting it all worked out. And it's really fun because it's all the same crew, goes from show to show to show, basically. So tell everyone on the channel here about your new book you're working on right now. This is pretty cool. I don't know if I want to say the title yet. Not the title, but you can tell them some of the content or what it's about. It's in several chapters, but each chapter is a completely different story. Well, it's basically a book based on my Tinder dates, but I have taken them and fantasized them. So it's kind of like I've written a little diary of my Tinder dates, but if the date didn't go so well, or I wished he was a little more this or that, I just wrote it in. So it has a little bit of erotica to it. Well, no, it's definitely erotica. Yeah. And I've never read 50 Shades of Grey, and I've never seen the movie 50 Shades of Grey, but people who I've asked to read what I'm writing to make sure that they like it or that it's working, they're saying it's so good. They said it's so good. So it's just shock to me. It's new. It's a new thing I'm doing, but I'm excited about it. But there's a whole other branch where you can reach out to your audience and just you, like you said, like creating. Here you are creating this. Yeah. Just created it. And the idea came because when I started dating on Tinder, I was an adult and hadn't been single as an adult like for 30 years. Right. Marriage. So I didn't know how I would come off to guys. So after my Tinder dates, I would make a voice memo. Like, okay, so this guy, we did this, we did that, we did this, we went there, and we did, and I just would do a little laundry list of what happened. And then I had a collection of them. And I went, this is interesting. And then it coupled with a need that I wished I would have had when I was younger, which was a book like this, and maybe it existed, but it was just not talked about, right? But a book like this that could help me with my sexual lifestyle and what I liked or didn't like, because I was so, I guess, protected and married.
Yeah.
So I was inexperienced. And so understanding that people can, there's so many different ways to love. There's so many different ways to love and be loved. And a lot of times we only know what we know, and we think, oh, that's not right, or that's not right, you know.
Doesn't feel the way you.
Yeah, but everybody's so different. And I think that's what this will show too, and allow people to have that fantasy. And if you're married with your husband, your wife, whatever, like to have a fantasy life where you can make it interesting and keep it fresh.
Yeah.
So I wish I would have had this book when I was younger.
When can we think that's going to be coming out?
Well, I'm writing, the volume 1 is going to be 14 dates, and I'm on date number 11.
Gotcha.
So I'm almost done.
It's pretty good. She's read almost every chapter to me. It's pretty good. I won't lie. And I said, I was trying to hold back. I said, so it has a little erotica to it. It's pretty heavily erotica, and it's really good though.
Yeah.
It's something that you would read. Yeah. I think for couples reading out loud to each other, I think it'd be.
There's so many ways. It could be a great bridal gift.
Yeah.
Or a bridal shower gift. Any young person that wants to learn, or I mean, couples, yeah, reading to each other, or let's say sexual relations in the marriage is not working great, so someone gets the book and it helps them, and they can talk about it. And so, yeah. And the stories are short. They're like 2 or 3 pages long. Each story is really short, and there's one picture in it.
So you can find yourself on Tinder, a single actress. They are out there. You just got to keep swiping right until you find her, right?
Yeah, except the problem with me is that my age range, I'm up there. Most guys are going, yeah, let's see how many 60-year-olds I can date.
Oh, yeah. She is young at heart, big time. In the house, she's in her doing yoga. She's dancing around. She sings out loud. Right before the actors workshop we did, you're outside doing yoga, stretching out, getting ready, breathing it in. And when the people start arriving, she greets each one with a hug and says, I'm a hugger, and then you just unleash.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, I go into a mode. And it's so inspiring to see these younger folks. And we had some not so younger ones this time, which I liked a lot. But the younger ones who, you know, starting out modeling and having ideas of what they could possibly do. And I'm able to assist in that, assist in that growth and aid in a foundation so that they can be really confident going out there and pursuing it. It's very rewarding. So thank you for having me.
You're welcome.
Seriously.
We'll do it again for sure.
Yeah.
Because I want to keep this dialogue going with all these people coming in and being part of it. And this is, so the whole MODA is like the umbrella. I told people this. We have the magazine launching May 1st, coming out in just a few days. Yeah. And this is exciting. I already showed her the computer.
The layout looks really good. Looks really good.
I still got to edit some more stuff on it. But then you got the modeling agency, the photography, but then we have MODA, the acting series, which is what we're doing with all this, with people coming in, learning about acting. And me coming from a modeling background, I mean, even as a model, you still do castings for TV commercials. And if you just even learn at least a little bit coming to one of these things, actor workshop, you can learn a lot about delivering your lines, your character, how to you say it when you feel like it should be said, when you're reading your lines, or you don't sound like you're reading from a script. I mean, you know, because when Toni has him read from a script, it's scripted. But then when we take away the script, you say, just go as much as you can remember, but then improv the rest, just do it.
It loosens them up. It loosens them up, because the idea of trying to read those words on the page and pay attention to another person, you know.
And pay attention to their own emotions, what they're doing.
Sure,
and
trying to figure that out, right? So, and I didn't do it with everybody, if you notice. I only did it with the ones that really struggled with it. And once I took the paper away and just kept reminding me, don't try and think of what the words are, just think of the situation and say whatever you want to say.
Which was awesome.
And they started really coming alive and feeling it. It's feeling it. And when you feel that, it's cool.
And when you ever come to one of our workshops, I would love for you to invite you to see it. to see Toni in work is fantastic. You'll get a couple of these girls like she's talking about reading off each other, and she's like, no, stop. Go 2 lines back. Start from that point, but don't like say you have to say it this way. Calm it down a little bit. Wait for it. Walk her to the door. Put your arm around her and say, hey, look. I mean, when you watch her work and then you watch the actors work or the students work, and then they get corrected, or not really corrected, but just guided. And then you see a whole different side of what should be or could be their character.
The possibilities.
Right. It just brings it out into a whole new light, literally.
Yeah. And usually I go, 3 or 4 adjustments.
Yeah.
And then, and if it doesn't happen by the 4th adjustment, then we're done for that moment. But usually 3 or 4 adjustments, you can really see the gradual growth.
Yeah.
And each scene comes alive and it becomes more solid. And yeah, it's fun.
You've got to, so I want to have one of these like acting workshop once, twice a month, depending on how many people we keep getting in the whole region. We're outside Louisville, Kentucky, in Crestwood. We're
beautiful.
We're 3 hours from Nashville. We're hour and a half, not even hour and a half from Cincinnati. 2 hours from Indy, 5 hours from Chicago, 4 hours from St. Louis. So we're pretty central to a lot of big cities, and it's not that bad of a drive.
Right.
Yeah. So we'd love to invite you to the next MODA Actors series. And
yeah, basically we start at 11. We go for 2 hours doing exercises and different things, and then we lunch, very wonderful lunch, and conversation, and you usually get your sides for your scene, and then we go 2 hours after lunch, and
it's pretty hardcore reading too. I mean, it's they're in character, they're learning, they're doing everything they can. The cool part when she's talking about the first 2 hours of doing certain exercises, she really brings out each person's emotion, whether it's happy, sad. Some of them put on tears because they might in real life be going through something, and she will stand like this in front of their face and say, look at me, how do you feel? And all of a sudden they're like just crying, like, oh my God, like this is what I'm going through. You're like, I don't want to hear it, just tell me what you're feeling, tell me one word of how you feel. And they're like, well, and then it's almost like a therapy session. I mean,
well, that's what acting really is, because because I've done both. 2 years of therapy. First year was twice a year, second year once a week. First year was twice a week. Second year was once a week. And at the end of the second year, bless my therapist, she said, Toni, you don't need to be here anymore. So what that does is help you find out who you are, therapy.
Yeah.
Become whole and comfortable in your own skin, be able to answer your own questions and not be so wondering about stuff if it's a good therapist.
Yeah.
And I think the same thing happens in acting. It's understanding the human condition, the human behavior, and why and how, and blockages. Mostly with actors, it's about blockages, not what they're capable of. We're all capable of it all, but it's what we block. You don't allow it to shine. And so, yes, we all do to some degree. So in this environment, once we get safe and we start to get to know each other, it's about finding out the block so that they can know. They can start to shed the block and the wall.
And we got to see that. We got to witness it.
You saw
one person in particular, really.
Which one?
One person in particular.
Yes.
She had a hoodie on, her shoulders up really tight, and was hiding, like literally hiding in the class.
Yeah, but bless her heart. And how good was she when she did the scene?
Especially when she improv, when they took the scripts away.
Yes, she was amazing.
Totally different person.
And she was only 15.
Yeah.
So awesome. She was awesome. But everybody was.
Yeah.
Everybody was. We had up to in their 40s and 50s.
Yeah.
Down to 15 years old. Yeah. And our class picture was missing a few people.
Yeah, because some people had to leave prior to the actual ending of it.
But no, it was so good. And it's just a joy to see the idea that these people are pursuing something, and they're wondering, can I do this? Am I good enough? Is it something that I could really? A lot of people came wondering.
Yeah.
And as they left, what did they all say?
They absolutely loved.
Yeah, that's like, no, I want to do acting. Yes, okay, yes. I'm in. In other words, it solidified the choice for them because they could experience it and say, yeah, I can do this. They did it.
Yeah. We had a girl named Cherie. She was in the military for 10 years. a helicopter mechanic. You would not know by looking at her. She was a helicopter mechanic. She spent time in Bahrain, in Iraq and Kuwait,
This
Afghanistan.
girl has a story.
Yeah. So then and you ask her, so why acting? And she says, it's my deep, dirty little secret. And I was
She doesn't
like,
want to tell anybody.
right. But then it's like, then she's here for the first time, letting out like what she wanted to try. And remember what you had her do? She did this exercise where she's doing this joyful thing and she was jumping up and down. You know, said like a 14-year-old would do. Come on. And then
And she kind of did it like a 14. And then it wasn't good enough. And I said, okay, go 7 years old. Go younger.
And then the whole class said, everyone up, everyone
I
up.
just got everybody up.
And everyone's going, ooh, and jumping around like little kids in a playground.
Because we talked about this
Yeah.
at the beginning. There's ways in life of being childlike.
Yeah.
And then there's ways in life you can be childish. There's a lot of childish going on in life, but people forget that childlike is still important.
Right.
Childlike wonder, childlike getting down to the level of a child, looking at, the flower that just opened up, whatever that is, a childlike wonder. Yeah, it's important.
So if you all have any questions for Toni, put them down in the comments below and I will send them to her and we can answer them. If you want to be part of our next actors workshop, definitely comment below also, or message me right here on YouTube or the social media what you're watching it on, and let me know, and we'll let you know when the next one's going to be for sure. But we'd love to have you.
Yeah.
And Toni, thank you for coming back to my little humble hold. And
thank you for having
me. I love you.
I love you too. No, seriously. And what Kevin is doing here in the area for the talent is amazing. So if anybody's interested in any of the arts, modeling, acting, makeup, whatever, because they could all become part of everything. So yeah,
we're trying to make it a little
Fashion.
all-in-one kind of thing. I mean, in Louisville, Kentucky area, you don't get working actresses or actors coming in town. You might get a casting director who's worked with an actor so many years ago or something like that. But to actually have an actual actress, a working actress that still acts and still gets in the movies. And keep in mind, she's a producer also. If she sees a face she might like that wants to use in a certain movie.
And that's not no joke. Seriously. In fact, the movie we did, Charlie's Christmas Wish, I put so many people in the movie just because they're my friends and I know their work and they're so good. And so yeah, that's really satisfying. By the way,
I always tell people it's not
jobs.
who you know, it's who knows you.
That's true.
But thank you all so much. Thank you, Toni, again.
Thank you for having me. Yeah, look forward to meeting you. Come on down.
Bye, guys.
Bye.